Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Millennial Movie Talk movie review. We got sent to a nice little preview screening of a film that Alex and Michael have been very excited about. Alex, Michael, what did we get to go see?
Well, we went along tonight to the press screening, the Adelaide premiere of Fast 9 or Fast and Furious 9.
Whichever one is good.
Depending on what they run with, what they feel like.
I don't think
John
that really...
Cena called it Fast and Furious 9 in the little introduction.
Here's some fun facts about the Fast and Furious franchise. The continuity of the names is all over the place.
Yeah.
Because I've got DVDs that say Fast and Furious 6, but when you play the movie, it's Furious 6. And same thing with Fast 5. And this one, it's labelled Fast 9 on posters and everything, but when the movie played and the movie ended, it did say Fast and Furious 9. So
we'll see how we go.
We'll run with Fast and Furious
Wikipedia
9.
says it's F9.
F9 too.
Perfect.
Nothing's as bad as number 8, Fate. F8.
Fate of the
Furious. F8.
Ridiculous.
I actually remember, Alex, a Facebook post of yours suggesting that for the next installment they say Fast 10.
Fasten
your
your
seatbelts.
Would be the best thing in the world.
Oh, they should get me for everything. I've called everything in this franchise so far.
And we'll get into that. But the start of this review is going to be no spoilers.
Well, this review here will be no spoilers. And then we'll do a couple
a
days
spoilers
later, we'll do
discussion.
A spoiler review.
So keep an eye out for that because, oh boy, there's going to be some thoughts.
Or on the show this coming week, we will do spoilers.
That's like the opposite of what you want to do. You don't want people just wanting to listen to the main episode of the podcast to just get hit with all the spoilers.
You're right.
Yeah.
All right.
Watch out for the separate spoiler thing because everyone's got some big discussion points that we really want to discuss.
We like.
There should just be a fence in the center of this room.
How about you guys go first?
We'll get into our non-spoiler thoughts. Steph, do you want to start us off?
I mean, I'm trying my hardest to find a diplomatic way to express my thoughts because unlike our review for Godzilla vs. Kong, I can appreciate that this film means a lot to a lot of people. And like it's been, I don't know, when was the first one? When did the first one come out, Alex?
2000 and something.
Cool.
Early 2000s.
Fabulous. So, I mean, it's been over a decade in the making, almost 2 decades in the making, perhaps.
This is the 9th in the main series and 10th in the franchise overall.
10th in the franchise. And I have seen all the others in preparation for Fast and Curious, the Alex. Oh, literally 2001.
2001.
So we're talking 2 decades. So I just think that these movies aren't for me personally. That's just it. That's how it always will be. I have never, ever been interested in action-packed films. Even Marvel films, for instance, I don't watch them for the action. I watch them for the characters and things like that. I don't find enjoyment or entertainment in watching things explode and things crash into each other. And I feel like this film relies very heavily on that sort of stuff, so it's not for me.
We've come a long way since the street racing days.
That's it. And in saying that as well, I feel like when you get to a point that, for me personally, when your characters, zero stakes. There are zero stakes with these characters. You can watch all the explosions and the car crashes and everything else that you want, and they remain not even like no one was even hospitalized in any of these films so far. I was going to say in any of these films so far.
And any of them so far,
we're talking like
The Rock he was in hospital for a whole film.
Yeah.
Okay,
that was behind the scenes things though.
So I mean, you know what I mean? It's just I feel like I don't watch these films with any sort of investment in the characters personally, but that's just my own thoughts, and I can appreciate that other people would feel very differently.
Thank you for your thoughts, Steph.
Brayden?
Thank you.
We want to balance it out.
No,
okay.
You go.
So I binge watched all the Fast and Furious movies this past week because I'd only seen the first one and 5, which were both very good and good fun. This series got bonkers. This film isn't my highest rated on the series, and I found that binge watching it, I am invested in these characters now because I've actually seen their journey. Pardon. I have mixed thoughts on this film. I liked parts of it, I didn't like other parts of it, and I think we'll get into a bunch of that. Now, you guys.
Look, the Fast and Furious franchise is something that I will always love. Watching them late at night with friends when I was growing up, especially, Tokyo Drift was always a fan favorite. And then seeing, I've seen from 4 onwards, all of them in theaters, midnight screenings for most of them, especially Fast and Furious 7. That was a great midnight screening because you had the emotional moment at the end. So these films do have a special place in my heart. Like, I feel like I've said this on the show. I don't regard them as cinema. They're just, but I love them and I have a lot of fun with them.
Mm.
So
you grew up with them.
I grew up with them. They're yeah. And so going into Fast and Furious 9, where we're getting introduced to a brother that hadn't even been hinted at for the whole series so far. 9 films in, we don't get a hint. I had a fantastic time with this film, and look, it's hard to stay unbiased. It's hard. I'm so biased with this because I love the franchise, I love the characters, every time you go into it, we're going in to see what the fuck are they going to do next. What's the next big thing they're going to do? Because we had 7 where they jumped through buildings and buildings and buildings, 6 where they had the world's longest runway, but also Dom catch lady from a tank, and then we had 5 where they grabbed a bank vault, and
Drove
8
through the streets,
and 8 where they punched a submarine. Punched a torpedo. Sorry,
from a submarine.
Yeah, so
it's being hacked by a technomancer.
Yeah, and I think something that I love about this film, particularly this one, and something that people might hate, and I understand they hate, is that everyone seems like they know what this movie is, except for one particular person who happens to be the main character and a producer on the film.
Yeah. He's very on board
Mr.
with
Vin
these
Diesel,
movies.
and
he regards these as cinema.
Yeah. Or he tried to get 8 nominated for Best Picture.
What?
Yeah, he ran a campaign to get 8 nominated for Best Picture. So there's that.
Look, I've got to appreciate how much love he puts into these movies.
It's passion. He's passionate about these.
These are his baby.
Yeah.
These are his baby.
Yeah. So obviously we can't get too much in spoilers, but this is the longest film in the franchise, and I didn't feel the runtime at all.
I would agree with that. I felt like it didn't go for 2 hours and
the
25
pace
minutes.
of this movie is bonkers.
If I'm going to be honest, the first 15 minutes were a bit rough. They were a bit choppy. But
we'll get into why that is.
Yeah, but then we got so quick into the action. There's an action set piece in the trailer that I assumed was going to happen halfway through the film, and it happens in the first 20 minutes.
100%. That's not a spoiler. That's just it's an actual oh wow, that means there's more to come.
Yeah, and I don't know if this is a spoiler, but once again, trailers show too much.
Yeah.
But overall, there were some characters that were completely sidelined and underutilized, especially some villain characters. But they're clearly setting them up to be the main antagonist in 10. So yeah, overall, I had a blast with this.
No, I didn't have the childhood nostalgia of this. I saw the first one I ever watched was 5, and that was when year 8, you start going to the movies with your friends. We went and saw that. I didn't see 6. I went and saw 7 in the movies with Alex.
Yep.
And then he sat me down and watched literally all of them. Was that before 8 or before we watched 7?
No, I think it was before we watched 7, or even after.
Yeah, I can't remember, but we sat down and watched all of them.
I remember going to see 7 in the midnight screening, and then going with you that night to go see it again.
And I don't know, I just found so much fun in them, and how ridiculous they get is just fun. That's all I see it as. It's just fun. I don't have to take it too seriously. I get joy out of just seeing what bonkers shit they do next in each movie. It's sort of how can they up themselves? I'm not going to sit here and be mad if they, fucking somehow with a car develop an atomic bomb next time. It's kind of just, let's see what they can try and conjure up and how they can get away with it.
I think... sorry.
From Hobbs and Shaw, and maybe even... I'll throw an A. They become sci-fi films.
Yeah.
They are...
Very much.
They are big... it's gone from them stealing DVD players to them saving the world 4 films in a row.
You look at the MacGuffins that these films do.
I love this one, man.
This movie's MacGuffin is so visually satisfying, and so what the hell is this?
But I mean... It's
great.
I had a fantastic time. I reckon every
Michael
time...
and I grabbed hold of each other multiple times throughout the
film.
I feel like literally from the start to the finish, every time we looked at each other, there was just a big smile on each other's face, or I don't know, an expression of just how much fun we were having, or how much we were liking it, or just shock of what happened, sort of thing. We didn't expect that sort of thing to happen, especially right at the end.
Oh, yeah.
But
I think these movies are very divisive. You will either find enjoyment from the adrenaline-packed, action-packed scenes, or you will just sit there and think well, there's nothing.
It's you like action movies or you don't.
It's not winning any screenplay awards. The dialogue for most of the scenes is serviceable, but there are the dialogue's never good. It's serviceable, but at times it's bad.
Yeah, that's where a lot of my issues with it stem from.
But to me, it's serviceable throughout the film. It's there. It does its job.
It gets by and gets out
until something happens, and then it drops.
Well,
but
that's
then
right. You don't go in there to watch it for the dialogue.
Much like our reviews earlier in the year with Godzilla vs. Kong and Mortal Kombat, where we were discussing what the differences were.
I was trying to, in my head, because I remember saying that exactly. I was trying to remember which movie was that.
So
that
we were talking about the
there for the
differences
dialogue,
between getting bogged down in badly written screenplay and just getting through it quickly to
Yeah.
get to the parts that people who want to see the movie are there for.
And this is the first, like, Justin Lin, the director, came back. He had been on a break from 7 and 8.
Yep.
And then he comes back, so he's, like, pretty much been with the franchise. He's directed the most films. Now he's back doing these last 2. And I thought he's probably the best director for these films. He knows what he's
gotten
doing.
very
Look,
good.
you gotta give props on like the action set pieces and just like this some of the stunts they especially do with like the cars and stuff.
Yeah.
They do it well.
I will say, from an objective perspective, considering I didn't enjoy the film, as an action film, a mindless action film that you would go into, I think it does it well.
Where
I
would
just
this-
don't find any enjoyment from it.
Where would this rank, though, with the series?
I haven't done a ranking yet.
I
I
would
literally
rank-
finished watching them today.
I would rank this on par with 6. I have
Let a 6 sit though.
5, Hobbs and Shaw. Probably 6. This 1, 4, 3, 2.
Don't say it. Oh,
Where'd you
you're
put 7?
7 goes
It's a special place in Alex's heart.
probably no. Actually, I'll say this: 7 in between 6 and this, but that I would give 3.5 stars to 7, this, and 6.
3.5 stars.
3.5. Well, just from enjoyment levels.
Yeah,
Like,
I feel like
can't
most
push it to 4 because 4's great, and this is just very fun.
A 4 is an 8 out of 10.
Yeah,
I
This is a
feel
7
like
out of 10.
all the rating is going to come from just fun and and that sort of thing. Like
Spectacle.
I'm just not going to take into account the acting or the writing or
The acting's not bad.
It's not
Like,
bad.
I intensely dislike Vin Diesel as an actor.
Okay, well
Intensely.
that sounds like a you.
I got
It
no.
just-
Okay, quick shout out to characters that actors that we can't actually mention in this review, but there's 2 actors who take to their parts incredibly well, and shout out to them because they do a really good job of it.
Yeah.
I don't think
They'll find
that
out who they are
entire
in the
spot
next.
so much time was really allowed for them, but I think they did a good job.
Yeah, like it's in the trailer, so you do get some people from previous films coming back.
Yes,
and
oh,
I feel,
those
I
as
feel
well.
like
Yeah.
and it's also like just the dynamic you have with all the characters. Like it's familiar. Like you know what their sort of roles in
Familiar.
the group are. It's great.
Familiar.
But
At the end-
do you think, Alex, I just want to ask you, do you think Vin Diesel is a good actor?
I think Vin Diesel's Vin Diesel.
I think he just plays himself.
He is Vin Diesel. I haven't
I
watched
think-
it yet, but I am going to watch Bloodshot for us at some point.
Like
Oh,
when
no.
when I watch him in these movies, it's Dominic Toretto for me, but Vin Diesel is Dominic Toretto.
Yeah.
Like
It's
I
his
don't
lifeblood.
I don't watch these films and go, oh, Vin, that wasn't a good line. He does have in every one of these movies. He has to have this angry shouty line.
Yeah.
he does have that in this film. He definitely had it in 8. He did a lot of angry shouty Vin lines.
Gotta
That's
say
the
though,
thing.
there's some lines where he comes out and like it's kind of like the times when he's speaking under his breath.
Mumble
like,
groans.
I really, really hope his throat is okay because, dear God, Vin, you've got the deepest, graveliest voice I've ever heard, and I really worry for your vocal folds.
See,
Yeah.
that's the thing. My cinema experience today got better when I was like, you know what? Imagine that he's not in the shot. What do you think of this shot now? And I'm like, it's actually quite
So
well
you
done.
would have loved the other people we couldn't talk about.
Yes.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the characters that were not Dominic Toretto. I just don't like him as a character or anything about him.
I found a decent amount of my enjoyment with this, having binge watched them all on my laptop, some on TV. I actually found a lot of enjoyment in this from sitting in the theater next to you 2 freaking out,
Well-
and the rest of the crowd laughing at some lines.
And I
It
think
got good, good reception.
And I think something that I love so much is that I was back in cinemas watching a Fast and Furious movie.
John Cena welcomes you.
John Cena, he welcomed us.
Because we saw 8 midnight
8
together.
midnight.
I remember that because we were at Elizabeth.
Yeah. And then obviously Hobbs and Shaw came out, and now we're back with like a main storyline.
I
Fast
did
and Furious
like
movie.
John Cena's character. He was probably one of my up there, like one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Really,
Yeah, John Cena was great in the film. Everyone they bring Mia back in a way that made sense to me because obviously we can't have Brian in the films. I'm so happy they don't even attempt to bring him as like a character
Yeah.
into it.
we were worried at times.
So yeah, I'm glad that they don't do that. They know exactly what they're respecting.
Yeah.
The legacy of this character.
They're working with what they can work with.
Yeah.
yeah,
and it's
And
fine.
they work with every other
And
character
from
from
the
all
trailers,
these
Han's
movies.
back. I thought they justified Han being back to
Yeah.
some extent.
to some extent.
They explain it.
Yeah.
And that's all you need.
Yeah, and I'm glad they at least explained it.
Yes, exactly. I was worried they weren't going to explain it at all.
It did seem that way. At
It was
times.
terrifying.
We'll talk about that in the spoiler.
Anyway, overall, like I said before, I give it 3.5 out of 5. I had such a great time with
I'd
it.
agree with that. 3.5 out of 5.
Look, it's not a great film if you like cinema and you like good movies. the only way to explain is if you're a Fast and Furious fan like Michael and I are, you're gonna love it. If you're an average moviegoer, you'll find some enjoyment out of it. It'll probably pass the time. It'll be passable for a film.
If you
But
just enjoy like throwing something on, this is
Yeah,
probably something.
if you didn't like any of the other films, and if you don't like these type of films, do not go see it. It's not for you.
Exclusively Swedish art house films. Like
So,
myself.
so for the roundup of Steph's Fast and Curious, which is a segment on our show from
A year ago.
a year ago, back when we made
This
Steph
would have been so much relevant if it didn't get delayed a year.
watch
Yeah.
all the Fast and Furious movies. Steph, how have you come out of watching all these movies?
Putting this into third gear.
I don't think I ever will watch any of them again, except for maybe Hobbs and Shaw, and except for maybe number 2. But
where does I do want to know, in your ranks, where does this one rank?
it's going to sound so stupid if I say Hobbs and Shaw 2, 5. This one, perhaps.
I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
But like,
It's questionable that
Like-
two's at the top, but anyway.
Oh,
yeah,
I'm sorry, one, then this one. I'm
Thank
sorry,
you.
I would put
it's
one.
it's
yeah.
like
I like
this.
I like one
it's
too.
just like a 2 out of 5 for you.
There's a 2 out of 5. I was thinking about 1.5, but I'll give it a 2 just because I need to think about. I need to sit on it a bit and give it a bit more thought about the good parts.
I personally can't wait to see it again.
I'm very glad that you can't wait to see it again.
I'm glad
because
too. I'm glad
it made
you guys
me
weren't
happy
disappointed.
seeing you guys really happy.
Yeah,
I'm giving it a 2.5. That's just, it's where it sits for me.
that's the average of your.
Yeah, that's most of my Fast and Furious reviews.
Yeah, so-
Follow us on Letterboxd if you don't. There's links to it somewhere.
So yeah, Michael 3.5. You said like
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Very nice.
Like I said, we're biased. But
Yeah.
like, I feel
I'm glad
like
you guys weren't disappointed with it.
That's what
as
the film's
F1
To be fair, I
fans.
don't think I could have been. Unless they
Vin Diesel
majorly
could have pulled his
messed up a
pants
lot.
down and shat on the camera.
Look,
and you would've been
like
like,
it would have been good.
good.
As long as they didn't just like mess up like all the characters or something.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
feel
it
like it's
stays
pretty,
true to the characters.
I think it's
like,
pretty hard to like make it really bad. Like obviously it's not fantastic, but I think as a Fast and Furious movie, it's pretty hard to make it horrible. Like you have to actually really
You have to actively work to make it bad.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you for listening to the review of Fast and Furious 9, Fast 9, F9, the whole 9, whatever it is. You can check us out on YouTube, podcast.
YouTube and Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Apple Podcasts, Stitcher.
Anchor.fm/Millennial Movie Talk. You'll find all
Patreon.
that stuff there. You can support us on Patreon if you want to help the show keep going and stop my arm from dropping. And you can, find us on Instagram and Twitter and stuff.
Dab dab.
there we go.
Is that what you want to end on?
Family.
La Familia.
Putting this in 5th gear.
Family.
Look at my cup. Can we talk about the cup?
You got a
Isn't that cool?
Corona.
All right, let's end it. Bye.
Want a Corona.
Hey.